Link is a gay icon, ladies and gentlemen. If there's anybody in the room that could shantae and slay harder than RuPaul, it is Link. And Polygon wrote the biggest cringe article in the world called Link is a Gay Icon, and Zelda fans know it. The Legend of Zelda's queer themes are more than just subtext. And of course, this is coming out because the brand new Tears of the Kingdom game, the much anticipated sequel to Breath of the Wild, is coming out. But gaming on the 8-Bit Eric channel. He's not a gaming channel anymore. All he does is cry and get triggered over woke stuff. That's probably what half of you guys are thinking, but thankfully, the LGBTQ community is doing all the heavy lifting for me and making these ridiculous, false narrative commentaries that are just full of fucking weirdness, all right? I get it. You guys want Daddy Link to come and live your wildest fantasies with you. This article is just outrageous, honestly. Outrageous, but I'm not surprised that Polygon did it. Just glancing at it real quick, you could just see that they talk about all sorts of stuff right here. Like let's look at this first paragraph right here, right? Legends of Zelda's I am so tongue-tied today. The Legend of Zelda's beloved and iconic protagonist Link is tagged in more than 17,000 pieces of fan fiction. We gotta love fan fiction on Archive of Our Own. Among those stories, more than 300 are tagged with trans Link. Do I need to say anything else about that? And nearly 2,000 feature Link in a romantic relationship with Prince Sidon or Ganondorf for the enemies to lovers fans. I guess people like Stockholm Syndrome. They want Link to fuck Ganon. Ganon's big pig cock just with like fucking 12 heads. I don't fucking know. Continuing on with this cringe. AO3 may not be the only metric for how many Zelda fans interpret Link as gay and or transgender, but it's one of the biggest. This is no surprise, as fans have been speculating on Link's gender and sexuality since at least 2009, though realistically he's been on the minds of queer players since Zelda was first released in Japan in 86. Oh my gosh, man, that's a lot to unpack. I don't want to look at this whole cringe article, so I'm going to look at a better article, which is at Bounding Into Comics, a site that explains this a lot more thoroughly and quickly than this cringe thing right here. So you can see the title of this page is Polygon pushes false narrative that Legend of Zelda series explores queer themes, claims Link is a gay icon. I get it. Link's a little feminine, all right? He has this cute face. You know, his jawline is nice and thin. He has that nice blonde, sometimes reddish hair. Good little glutes, good little butt. But he's just a video game character. I get it. I jerked off to Lara Croft a couple times. Tifa, Princess Peach. But there's just something about Link that everybody wants Link to be their daddy. So, looking at this, it says Polygon's latest clickbait claims Link is a gay icon, pushing the false narrative that the Legend of Zelda series has queer themes, which there's nothing queer about Legend of Zelda. But of course, everybody has to have representation and identify and think that just because they're gay, everything else is gay. The editorial came from Samantha Puck in her first piece. So this was this writer's first piece. This whole Link is a gay icon, this is this writer's first piece for Polygon. Holy cow, they came out swinging. And she had previously written for the Mary Sue, Fat and Queer, and is a member of the Writers Guild of America East. The editorial isn't based on discussions with the LGBT community, assessing if the series has major themes of loving or being what you want, who you want, or analysis if the fan base has an especially large LGBTQ demographic. Puck opens her argument that one of Nintendo's most iconic characters resonates with the LGBT community with the prevalence of fan fiction, noting that over 17,000 pieces of fan fiction featuring Link submitted to Archive of Our Own, with a small fraction depicting Link as transgender. So they're basing the idea that Link is a gay icon because of how much fan fiction's out there. Well, let me tell you about fan fiction, guys. All right? Fan fiction is wild. I'm surprised there's no APE fan fiction out there of me and the Game Changers having a fucking menage a trois and shoving Joy-Cons up each other's asses. All right. Fan fiction is for the real weird people on the internet. The really weird people with the anime avatars. So continuing on, you can see that this says fans have been speculating on Link's gender and sexuality since 2009. There was a 2009 editorial from Zelda Dungeon, and they cite a 2015 Kotaku interview with series producer Eiji Aonuma, who stated Link is not gay, he's just an odd person. Puck then claimed the series producer shut down speculation about Link's sexuality within the franchise canon, adding that Aonuma's statement also opened the door further for fan interpretation. Oddity has long been inextricably linked with queerness, even beyond the etymology connection. For decades, heteronormativity has forced queer people to exist on the fringes of society. So Puck, the writer of this article, is taking the word odd, like, oh, Link is an odd person, and using that to twist it into queer. All right? Just because somebody's odd or even queer doesn't necessarily mean they're gay. Queer just became kind of like a slang or a label for gayness. But if I say, oh, Link's odd, it doesn't mean like he's literally gay. He's just odd. He's socially awkward. All right? Are you that desperate to have some kind of identity with the Legend of Zelda franchise? I guess fan interpretation, people could think just because somebody interprets something doesn't mean that it's actually that. All right? The producer said Link's not gay. All right? We don't need to see Link having sex with a female to confirm that. Now, this is a old article right here with Tingle, which is kind of funny because Tingle is a really weird character. He's a map salesman, and you could see that the interview reference where Aonuma is talking about is actually talking about Tingle. For some reason, I guess they got it confused with Link. So Aonuma is actually talking about Tingle being a weird character. So you can see the protagonist is not even mentioned in Kotaku's article, a fairly relevant detail that escaped the attention of Puck and Polygon's editors. Puck briefly discusses queerness being historically labeled a form of depravity and rights being under threat from legislation. She then claims that combined with the propensity for fans to hold fast to their theories regardless of canon, Aonuma's rejection of the theory won't stop fans from having their own interpretations of the iconic character. In short, Puck argues a character being weird is proof that they could be deemed gay to fans who will hold on to that belief no matter what its creators say. In other words, they're fucking weird. Those fans are weird. Just because somebody's called odd, they take that as somebody being gay. Now, Puck claims the queer theories, according to this article, became especially apparent during the lead up to Breath of the Wild, thanks to rumors that players would be able to choose to play as a female Link. Again, Aonuma dashed hopes in an interview and confirmed that this wasn't the case, but Puck claimed the producer's responses point to seemingly intentional ambiguity around Link's identity markers. Now, it's fucking weird that they're so desperate for this, first of all. It's almost like a weird form of like, I wouldn't say grooming, but like they're over sexualizing the concept of Link as a person. Like they need to know what Link fucks. Does Link fuck other men? Basically, is what it boils down to, and they want to pretend that. And I mean, again, Link's a good looking guy, but come on. Now you could see Aonuma seems to explain how he wanted Link to appeal to both men and women. So he said, back during Ocarina of Time days, I wanted Link to be gender neutral. I wanted the player to think maybe Link is a boy or a girl. If you saw Link as a guy, he'd have more of a feminine touch, or vice versa. But if you related to Link as a girl, it was with more of a masculine aspect. So I guess I could see that. I really wanted the designer to encompass more of a gender-neutral figure, Aonuma revealed. So I've always thought that for either female or male players, I've always wanted them to be able to relate to Link. For Legend of Zelda Twilight, Link was made more masculine, and after that, Aonuma went back to the drawing board and decided Link should be a more gender-neutral character. Hence, I created the version you see in Breath of the Wild. Anuma stamps out any theories, adding, as far as gender goes, Link is definitely a male, but I wanted to create a character where anybody would be able to relate to that character. So that's why I think the rumor went around and that Link could be a female, because maybe the users were able to relate in that way. So, yeah, it's just people twisting it to, I guess, relate, and they, of course, they got to push that agenda. I have no clue. I personally don't give a shit. Link's a male to me. Now, Puck is just adamant. Puck insists Link's gender neutral or androgynous design in Breath of the Wild is complicated. And they go on and talk about how Link has to dress up in a Gerudo women's clothes. They basically have to cross dress. They point that out as a reason. No, I see that just as him wearing a disguise. I don't think that's Link actually cross dressing and continuing to wear that. You know, just because somebody dresses up to be in a disguise, I do not think that's any kind of, I guess, indication on what Link is as far as his sexuality goes. And I also want to state on the record that I think it's stupid that we're here talking about this, even though people like, oh, it should be a discussion, inclusivity. Okay, whatever. Here's another interesting paragraph right here. Despite Puck's gay icon acting transphobic, she does admit the quest fails trans Zelda fans in major ways. So even the cross-dressing quest isn't good enough. But much like Anuma's denial that Link is gay, it also presents players with an opportunity. Namely, players gain the freedom to queer the game by having Link wear femme clothes after the quest. So yeah, you can have Link wear the femme clothes. Other costumes are less intentionally feminine, but there's also a distinct absence of hyper-masculine imagery like you would see in Red Dead or even Metroid, wherein male heroes are either super muscular or tall and wiry, and their costumes emphasize their bodies. Well, by the way, Metroid, that's Samus. That's a fucking female. All right, Puck? So if you guys want to take a gander at this ridiculous article that's trying to justify that Link is gay, go to Polygon and read it. Because I'm about done with it. What do you guys think?